The camera sweeps across a dimly lit room where dozens of eyes stare back through the darkness. Some glow amber, others shimmer green. Each pair belongs to a creature that has walked beside humanity for thousands of years, yet remains enigmatic, independent, and utterly distinct. The domestic cat exists in more forms than most people realize. Over 100 recognized breeds now populate the globe, each carrying unique genetic signatures, temperaments, and physical traits that set them apart from every other feline on Earth. This is not merely a story about pets. This is an exploration of diversity engineered through centuries of selective breeding, natural adaptation, and human fascination with perfection. The journey begins in ancient Egypt, where cats first entered human civilization, not as companions, but as protectors of grain stores. These early felines bore little resemblance to the pedigreed animals that dominate modern cat shows. They were lean, muscular hunters with short coats designed for desert heat. Yet from that single ancestral pool, an explosion of variation would eventually emerge. Fast forward to the present day. The Abyssinian stands as one of the oldest recognized breeds, its ticked coat creating the illusion of wild ancestry. Each hair contains multiple bands of color, producing a shimmering effect when light catches the fur at certain angles. Experts trace the breed back to ancient trade routes between North Africa and Southeast Asia, though precise origins remain contested. What cannot be disputed is the breed's athletic build and restless energy. These cats do not lounge. They patrol, they climb, they investigate every corner of their environment with an intensity that suggests something untamed still burns within. Move westward, and the Persian emerges as the complete opposite in temperament and form. Bred for centuries in the palaces of Iran, these cats feature flattened faces, impossibly long fur, and dispositions that favor quiet observation over frantic activity. The modern Persian requires daily grooming to prevent matting, a testament to how far selective breeding has pushed certain traits beyond practical function. Yet owners worldwide accept this maintenance burden in exchange for the breed's serene presence and ornamental beauty. The contrast between these two breeds alone demonstrates the staggering range contained within a single species. In the frozen regions of Russia, nature shaped the Siberian cat without human intervention. This ancient breed developed a triple-layered coat capable of withstanding temperatures that would kill most other felines. The outer guard hairs repel moisture. The middle layer provides insulation. The soft undercoat traps body heat against the skin. Beyond physical adaptation, Siberians produce lower levels of the FeL-D1 protein that triggers allergic reactions in humans, making them one of the few hypoallergenic options available to cat lovers who otherwise suffer around felines. But the mystery did not end with natural breeds. Human ambition drove breeders to create entirely new forms through controlled genetic combinations. The Bengal represents one of the most controversial achievements in modern breeding. Created by crossing domestic cats with Asian leopard cats, the Bengal carries the wild spotted or marbled coat pattern of its jungle ancestor while maintaining the temperament necessary for home life. The breed sparked fierce debate within feline genetics communities. Critics argued that introducing wild blood violated the boundaries between domestic and exotic species. Supporters countered that Bengals fulfilled a human desire for wild beauty without the ethical problems of keeping actual wild cats as pets. Regulations now govern Bengal breeding in multiple countries, with several generations of domestic breeding required before the cats can be legally sold or shown. The Sphinx takes genetic mutation in another direction entirely. A natural mutation produced hairless kittens in Toronto during the 1960s, and breeders immediately recognized the commercial potential. Through careful selection, the Sphinx breed emerged with its distinctive wrinkled skin, large ears, and complete absence of fur. The breed requires regular bathing because oils that would normally be absorbed by fur instead accumulate on the skin. Temperature regulation also becomes a concern, as these cats lack the natural insulation that fur provides. Yet demand for Sphinx cats remains high, proving that human aesthetic preferences often override practical considerations. Across the Atlantic, British and American breeders developed parallel versions of similar types. The British Shorthair emerged from working cats that controlled rodent populations in barns and warehouses throughout England. Selective breeding amplified certain traits until the breed displayed a round face, dense coat, and stocky body that became the template for the Cheshire Cat in popular culture. Meanwhile, American breeders created the Maine Coon, a massive long-haired breed adapted to harsh New England winters. Adult males can exceed 20 pounds, with females typically weighing between 12 and 15 pounds. The size difference between a 4-pound Singapora and a 20-pound Maine Coon illustrates how dramatically body size can vary within domestic cats. Some breeds arose from geographic isolation rather than intentional breeding programs. The Japanese bobtail developed naturally on islands where genetic drift produced cats with shortened tails caused by a recessive mutation. The mutation does not harm the cat or affect balance, contrary to what the truncated tail might suggest. Japanese culture embraced these cats as symbols of good fortune, and the breed eventually gained international recognition. Similarly, the Turkish Van developed in the mountainous Lake Van region of Turkey, where cats learn to swim in order to cool themselves during brutal summer heat. The breed retains this unusual affinity for water today, often surprising owners who expect the typical feline aversion to swimming. Pattern interruption occurs naturally in cat genetics, through phenomena like color point restriction. The Siamese, Ragdoll, and Himalayan all display darker coloration on their extremities due to temperature-sensitive enzymes that produce more pigment in cooler areas of the body. The face, ears, paws, and tail develop rich chocolate, seal, or blue tones while the core body remains cream or white. This pattern requires specific genetic conditions to manifest, and breeders carefully track pedigrees to maintain the trait. The science becomes even more complex when examining coat colors and patterns. Solid colors require 2 copies of recessive genes. Tabby patterns come in for distinct variations: mackerel, classic, spotted, and ticked. Tortoise-shell coloring appears almost exclusively in females due to the genetics of X chromosome linkage. Calico cats display both the tortoiseshell pattern and white spotting, creating the tricolor appearance that many cultures consider lucky. Male calico cats occur at a rate of approximately 1 in 3,000, and most are sterile due to the chromosomal abnormality required to produce the coloring in males. But beyond genetics and physical traits lies temperament, the invisible characteristic that often determines whether a cat thrives in a particular home. The ragdoll earns its name from a tendency to go limp when picked up, displaying remarkable trust and docility. The Siamese demands constant interaction and vocalizes loudly when ignored. The Norwegian forest cat retains a semi-wild independence that makes it suited to homes with outdoor access. The Scottish fold, with its unique forward-folded ears, tends toward placid companionship without the neediness some breeds display. Matching personality to lifestyle becomes as important as aesthetic preference when choosing a breed. Rare breeds continue to emerge as genetic testing allows breeders to identify and isolate unique traits. The Likoi, or werewolf cat, arose from a natural mutation that produces patchy hairlessness and gives the face a feral appearance. The Khao Manay, a pure white Thai breed with jewel-toned eyes, remained virtually unknown outside Thailand until the 21st century. The Chauzi combines domestic cats with jungle cats to create a large athletic breed with primitive physical characteristics. Each new breed adds another branch to the ever-expanding tree of feline diversity. Yet beneath this spectacular variety lies a single truth: every domestic cat, from the tiniest munchkin to the largest savanna, from the hairless sphinx to the heavily furred ragamuffin, shares over 95% of its DNA with every other domestic cat. The differences that seem so dramatic represent minor variations in gene expression, mutations carefully preserved, and traits amplified through selective breeding. The visual diversity of cats serves as a living demonstration of what genetic plasticity can achieve within a single species. In just a few thousand years, one type of desert hunter transformed into over 100 distinct forms, each adapted to different climates, each appealing to different human aesthetics, each carrying behaviors shaped by both nature and nurture. The screen fades to black, but the question lingers. In another 1,000 years, what new forms might emerge from the genetic palette that cats possess? What traits might breeders emphasize next? And at what point does diversity become so extreme that we must ask whether we have pushed the boundaries too far?